Hey Leisure Gamers, Luke here. Today we're going to work with another set of aromatics, but this time we're going to add Asian flavors into our dish. We're going to be making an Asian meatloaf, which sounds kind of strange, but it's really good and you just have to trust me. So let's get started.
When looking at the ingredients list, you'll notice it's quite long. Don't let this scare you away from trying their recipe though. Many of the ingredients have a long shelf life and can be used in upcoming recipes, so they're worth having in your cupboard. For equipment, you'll need the usual gear such as a cutting board and knife, but you'll also need an oven, some sort of baking dish, a medium-sized pot for cooking the sauce, and a rice cooker or another medium-sized pot for cooking the rice. Start by lining a baking sheet, or you could even use a heat-resistant dinner plate with aluminum foil. This will make cleanup much easier in the end. Then preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Next, we'll cut up our aromatics. In previous episodes, we've used a mirepoix and a Cajun Trinity. This time, we're using the Asian aromatics of green onions, garlic, and ginger. Start by giving the green onions a quick rinse and peel away any skin that is damaged. Then cut off the root ends and slice them into equal-sized pieces. For the garlic, break the cloves from the husk. Then use the flat side of your knife to crack the skin open and slip out the clove. Then you can mince up the garlic from here. To prepare fresh ginger, slice off a small section to work with. Then use a peeler or a small paring knife to remove the skin. You'll notice that ginger is quite fibrous, but it's very fragrant and quite peppery if you taste it. Mince up the ginger similar to how you prepared the garlic. You'll need ginger for both the pork and the sauce. See the recipe for details. Lastly, you'll want to chop up some cilantro leaves after you've given them a quick rinse. This is the first checkpoint. The hard work of cutting up vegetables is over. The remaining recipe is pretty much just combining the ingredients and cooking them. In a large bowl, combine the ingredients for the pork loaf. Start with the ground pork, then add the eggs, which will help prevent the pork loaf from falling apart. Next, add the panko breadcrumbs, which will soak up the juices while cooking and help the pork stay tender. Panko breadcrumbs are used in Japanese cuisine and have a very crisp and airy texture. Then add the aromatics. You could use garlic and ginger powder to save time. The measurements are listed in the recipe. Next, measure out the liquids, which besides adding more flavor, will prevent the pork from drying out. Start with the sesame oil. When buying oil, look for some that has already been toasted. If it doesn't say in the bottle, it will be very dark in color compared to untoasted sesame oil. Next, add the rice vinegar and finally the soy sauce. To finish up combining the ingredients, add the salt and red pepper flakes. Mix well until all the ingredients are evenly incorporated, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. This is the second checkpoint. Use this if you want to come home and pop the dish in the oven for dinner. Place the meat on the lined baking sheet and press into low form. This ensures the meat will cook evenly and no part will get burnt because it's sticking out from the rest. Place in the oven and cook for 45 minutes at 350 degrees. While the pork is cooking, start some rice. If you need a refresher on how to properly cook rice, check out our coconut Cajun chicken video. One thing I didn't mention before is that you'll want to wash your rice before cooking. This removes any excess starch and impurities. Submerge the rice in cold water and drain as best as you can. The rice will sink to the bottom, so it's fairly easy to strain. Once washed, fill the pot with the appropriate amount of water and start cooking. Next, it's time to prepare the sauce. In a medium pot, combine the chicken stock, cornstarch, soy sauce, sugar, lime juice, red pepper flakes, and the reserved ginger you saved earlier. Bring the mixture to temperature over high heat while stirring. Once the sauce has an even consistency, reduce the heat to low. If for some reason the sauce is still very thin, dissolve 1 teaspoon of cornstarch with a small amount of water in a separate bowl. Add this mixture, or sometimes called a slurry, to the sauce and stir over medium heat. Once the newly added starch is heated thoroughly, it should thicken the sauce even further. Repeat this step if necessary until the desired consistency is formed. While cooking, you'll want to rotate the pork at least once. This helps evenly cook the pork and prevent one side from burning. When the 25 minutes are up and the pork is golden brown, it's probably done. You might want to double check by cutting into the center of the pork and seeing if it's cooked thoroughly. Once done, let the pork rest for a few minutes before slicing into half-inch thick pieces. Serve the pork over rice and top with the sauce. Have fun with the presentation by either following ours or thinking of your own. To add the final touches, garnish with the top cilantro and enjoy. If you have any questions about the recipe or anything we covered, let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoy the recipe and tell us how it goes for you. Alright, Leisure Gamers, see you next time.